The NFL and college football seasons are kind of a quarter of the way through. It's kind of loosey-goosey since the math doesn't work anymore for the NFL with the expanded schedule. But it is time for a new, updated, fresh, brand new 2023 NFL mock draft. And if you want more mock drafts and more NFL draft coverage, we got to show the bosses here at Chat Sports. Share this video. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Text it to a buddy. Click the share button and send it away so we can do even more mock drafts in the future. While you share it, by the way, I will make note, the draft order today is based on the Chat Sports 2023 updated NFL or 2022 updated NFL power rankings entering week 5. So don't blame this video for the rankings. I'll put the link in there for the order, but that's what it's based on. So blame the power rankings, not just me. We begin with pick number 1, the Houston Texans. I mean, they're winless. That makes sense, right? Now, if I've been underwhelmed by Davis Mills so far, I'll buy him a little bit more time and go with the general consensus number 1 player in this year's class, Will Anderson, the edge out of Alabama. Number 2, this is the Carolina Panthers. Got them taking C.J. Stroud. I know there are some Matt Golden Corral truthers, but if you're drafting number 2 and both QBs are there, you got to take one. At number 3, Bryce Young out of Alabama. These 3 players are your heavy betting favorites, by the way, to be the first player taken in this year's draft class. I actually like Young more than Stroud early on. I still got to do a full, true, in-depth film study, but that's where I'm at. Young's a bit undersized. Man, he makes some awesome moves. We'll see when he gets back on the field, by the way, since he's a bit banged up right now. So of these 3, or someone else, who ends up going number 1? Type in WA for Will Anderson Jr., BY for Bryce Young, CJ for CJ Stroud, or type in O for other. Let me know in the comments section. I will make this question the pinned comments on today's video. So if the ad break comes in here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there, WA, CJ, BY, O for other, bonus points if you tell me who that other person is. For the most part, Jalen Carter, the Georgia defensive tackle, has been viewed as the next best consensus player here in the draft order. I think the Raiders, I love a tackle. I don't love the options, and they do need an interior defensive tackle, by the way, to really elevate that defense. I think Carter would thrive in Vegas. The Eagles, this pick, by the way, via the New Orleans Saints. So since the Eagles are picking 32 in this, or I guess 31 with the forfeited pick, they're not going to go QB. It's the Saints pick. How about Myles Murphy? Get another young, promising pass rusher in there as that team continues to focus on the trench play. Kelee Ringo, number 6, the Steelers. Again, I don't love the offensive lineman here, so I'll go Ringo, though I'll get to a lineman later on. I just think it's not a great class. Dan Moore's shown some promise. A number 1 corner is needed, and Ringo has the upside to be just that. The Jets need more pass rush. Help out Quinnen Williams and hopefully Jermaine Johnson down the road. The rest of the group has not been that impressive. Nolan Smith is kind of that more dynamic edge coming around the corner, a bit undersized, can play that kind of 3-4 outside linebacker, 4-3 defensive end hybrid role there. Smith's a fun piece, and it's not an accident. There are 3 Georgia defensive players in the top 7. Go figure, right? Number 8 is Will Levis, the Kentucky quarterback, who I know is well-liked around the NFL, even if, despite the great arm strength and mobility and upside, the consistency is still not there. So I want you guys to be honest with me on this one. Do you believe in Will Levis? Y for yes, N for no. Be honest with me in the comments section. Here's our first lineman. This is your Isaiah Wynn replacement. Paris Johnson Jr. out of Ohio State. Played guard, now tackle, has done a good job for Ohio State. I don't think receiver is the route they'll go, but we'll see on that front there. Number 10, Bijan Robinson, the Atlanta Falcons, the pick here out of Texas. Doesn't this make sense? Wouldn't the Falcons, who want to run the football so badly, take the best running back prospect we've seen since Saquon? And Robinson, by the way, is an absolute baller. I love him. This just comes down to positional value, and that will determine where he ends up going in the end. You've seen the Lions defense, right, folks? It's not great. How about an interior pocket pusher? Some dynamic 3 techniques in Brian Brzee out of Clemson. It is still more of a traits-based pick than production-based pick, but there is a lot of talent for the former 5-star defensive tackle. Peter Skoronski, Northwestern tackle to the Colts for the quote-unquote highest paid offensive line. They sure as hell aren't playing like it because their weak points are really, really bad. Skoronski has got some short arms. Some teams will view him as a guard, some as a tackle. I'll put him in at left tackle for Indy. If you want to bet on the NFL, on college football, and yes, on the NFL draft, do it with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code NFL Daily gets you a 125% deposit bonus when you put down at least $100. They've got, by the way, bettable as we speak, number 1 overall pick odds. CJ Stroud, plus 150. Bryce Young, plus 200. Will Anderson, plus 325. Paris Johnson, the tackle, 850. And Will Levis, plus 1,200. Let's go to CJ Stroud's teammate, Jackson Smith-Njigba. The Bears very clearly need to build a better passing game, and Jackson Smith-Njigba will help them do that. You're picking 13. It's not quarterback range. You take a receiver, help give Justin Fields more than just Darnell Mooney and not much else in the passing game. Isaiah Foskey next up here, Tennessee. I think Bud Dupree's going to get cut. Harold Inger's coming back off of injury. Rashad Weaver's shown some promise. Getting another edge piece, I think, will help them quite a bit. Andre Carter now, the Army edge rusher to Arizona here. You know, you lose Hassan Reddick. They've never quite replaced him the way they should. Arizona loves to go the PFF route. They like Andre Carter this year. Seattle, this pick via Denver, by the way. I want a better linebacker than Cody Barton. How about Trenton Simpson, who can do a lot of fun things for you in coverage as well? Simpson to the Seahawks here. Their second first-round pick, they went Will Levis at number 8. Michael Mayer, the tight end. I love this fit. Evan Ingram is not it. We all know that. Doug Peterson's seen what great tight ends can do in Philadelphia. You put Michael Mayer together with Trevor Lawrence. I think that duo is going to be awesome. All right, Houston pick 18 via the Browns here. Jordan Addison. You got Brandon Cooks. Nico Collins continues to not quite be what I think you want. John Mechie will be a piece next year, but if you want to see if Davis Mills is your guy, you got to get more offensive talent. You just missed out on Michael Mayer. Again, I don't love the linemen this year. Addison's been balling for USC. Let's ride with Addison, Cooks, and Mechie and see what the Texans can make happen. Who is your favorite 2023 NFL draft prospect? Let me know right now. Literally no wrong answers, by the way, in the comments section. Oregon corner Christian Gonzalez. Next up here, Colorado transfer. Teams don't throw at him. That's a good sign of how good he actually is. This next one was too fun to pass up. Joey Porter, son of the Steelers legend, going to the Bengals, their division rival, their hated rival. Look, Eli Apple's still starting. Probably not what you want. Chidobe Awuzie's fine. Add a potential number 1 corner who has played awesome, especially early on this year. I love that fit in Cincinnati. I'd love a lineman, but again, it's just not a great grouping, and I kind of forced lineman for our next pick at 21. Before that, though, for the best NFL coverage, we'll be live for every single day, free agency, like draft free agency, all of it. This is your best spot for NFL draft coverage on YouTube. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe today. All right, I forced a lineman pick here, but the Chargers are in dire straits of help here. One of the biggest risers this year out of Penn State, Olu Fashuanu, the Penn State offensive tackle. Really impressive, a very small sample size still. Do not sleep on that name. Let's get the Lions double dipping now on defense. Cornerback this time, Clark Phillips out of Utah. Not the biggest guy. He's a little bit smaller. He's a playmaker. I love what he's done in his career at Utah. I think he's an undervalued player. Maybe he's got the lack of measurables, and that hurt like Roger McCreary, Asante Samuel in recent years. Both guys have played awesome. I love his fit in Detroit. I did this next one. John Michael Schmitz, the Miami center, or the Minnesota center. Just from a boy with the Fins. As the Dolphins, you can play Connor Williams at left guard, get Liam Eichenberg off there. He's played awesome for the Golden Gophers this year. If you want a center, this is a good name to keep an eye for. I think a flawless fit, by the way, in the Mike McDaniel offense. Quick note, Lions pick via the Rams, and the Dolphins pick via the 49ers. Finally, cornerback Cam Smith. Well, not finally, but number 24 here, the final of this foursome. Cornerback Cam Smith out of South Carolina goes to the Dallas Cowboys. Anthony Brown might leave in free agency. You might make the transition from Deron Bland to Jordan Lewis, or from Jordan Lewis to Deron Bland, and Kelvin Joseph is not exactly trustworthy. Corner under the radar, though, could be a big-time need for this Cowboys team. I think Dan Quinn might like Cam Smith quite a bit. I'll put a QB in here. Tanner McKee out of Stanford. I don't love it. I'm not the biggest Tanner McKee fan, but I know he has real supporters around the NFL, and this is not what I would do, but trying to guess, even if it is in October, what I think the NFL might end up doing. No Anthony Richardson, by the way, because he should not go pro. But how many quarterbacks do you think end up going in round one in this year's NFL draft? Make those predictions for me right now in the comments section. Loaded edge rusher class next up here. Felix Anudike Uzama. The Kansas State edge, kind of, I think, flying under the radar in a loaded class this year. A lot of good Big 12 edges this year, too, and defensive linemen. I like him from Minnesota, who might not have Daniil Hunter. Kayshon Boutte, the LSU receiver, to be blunt, has been booty. It's been bad. He is not making an impact. Upside's there. He's been a big-time faller, though. Quentin Johnston out of TCU, one of my guys, has the size measurables that the Packers tend to like at wide receiver. You've got Dubs. You've got Christian Watson. Add more talent. Add more bodies there. You can even give Dubs and some slot receiver. I think Johnson can do some slot receiver stuff, too. So I know it's another premium pick at receiver. I'm begging you invest more at that spot. Please. All right, there is no Dolphins first-round pick. There's earlier one from the 49ers from the trade. So that's forfeited because of the Sean Payton, Tom Brady stuff. So we skip 29, originally by Miami, and that becomes now Buffalo's pick. Antonio Johnson, Texas A&M safety. Fun piece, man. With some free agents coming up there, adding one there, I love it all the way. Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech. Under the radar player, again, Big 12 player, not many of that edges that people respect there. I'm a big Wilson guy. I know they just took George Karlaftis. I'm not sure how much longer Frank Clark's going to be around. Add another one and have two young, dynamic pass rushers coming off the edge. The Eagles at 31. If they win the title, not that many needs. They never go linebacker early, but this is probably a good one to go for there. Noah Sewell out of Oregon. He was the best player left as far as I'm concerned, so I pencil him in to Philadelphia. I'm down a first-round spot. I hate it. There were more names I want to put in there. So be honest with me in the comments. Who am I leaving out of my 2023 NFL mock draft? Let me know right now in the comment section. I've got some special mentions for players I liked. I think Keandre Coburn has been playing great this year for Texas. Tyreek Stevenson, good year so far for Miami. Jared Verse, your number one biggest riser in the entire 2023 draft process here. Cedric Tillman, it's one of my guys from Tennessee. Very impressive there. Josh Downs out of North Carolina. Anthony Richardson from Florida as well. I don't think he should go pro, but there is a lot of upside, but he's not a fully developed prospect quite yet.